Prime Minister Narendra Modi has become the second Indian Prime Minister to run the country for the third consecutive time after Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. However, this time BJP has failed to form a government on its own and now has to depend on its allies because it has failed to get the majority seats at the Lok Sabha. It has fallen short of the 272 needed seats at the Lok Sabha as it was able to secure 240 seats this time. So, now that Prime Minister Modi has taken his oath, his swearing in ceremony has been done. He has now become the Prime Minister for the third consecutive time. And the world has witnessed India's elections up and close. The world has observed Prime Minister's victory this time with a coalition government. So, in this video here, we are going to understand how the world has reacted to PM Modi's victory this time and also understand what impact will India's new government have on its foreign relations, specifically its neighbors, as well as the Western and the Eastern powers. So let's get right into the video. If you're new here, please consider subscribing to our channel so that you do not miss our new videos. So PM Modi's swearing in ceremony was attended by 7 heads of state as well as premiers of the neighboring countries. And these include the President of Sri Lanka, Ranil Wickremesinghe, the President of Maldives, Mohamed Muizzu, the Vice President of Seychelles, Ahmed Afif, the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, the Prime Minister of Nepal, Pushpakamal Dahal Prachand, the Prime Minister of Mauritius, Pravind Jagannath, as well as the Prime Minister of Bhutan, sharing top gate. Now, what is surprising over here is the fact that the President of Maldives, Mohamed Muizzu, not only did he attend the swearing-in ceremony of Prime Minister Modi, but he also said that he was honored to be invited to the ceremony. Now, this is coming from a president of a country who led the India Out movement and also became the President of Maldives on the basis of this particular campaign. He also asked the Indian government to withdraw its troops from Maldives. And now his stance at this point of time, something has changed. And we are going to talk about that later in this video. But first, let us understand and talk about how the Western media and the US has reacted to this news of Prime Minister Modi coming back to power, this time with a coalition government. It seems like the Western media is rejoicing this time, seeing that the Prime Minister of the country has not come to power on his own. He has to now depend on a coalition government, on his allies. And this is clear from the fact, from this particular headline, and I'm going to read it out for you. A chastened Modi could become a reliable partner to the United States. Now, the US has looked at India from a point of view that India can counterbalance the influence of China in the Indo-Pacific region. And it has always thought of India as going head to head with China when it comes to this particular region. Now, the US, although it likes the fact that India is there to counterbalance China's influence, it does not like the fact that India's influence overall is growing. It is paying close attention to India's growing influence, and it does not seem to like it. Because first, the US does not like any country coming up and surpassing the US or even getting a chance to get close to the US. Secondly, it does not like the fact that India is not aligning with the West. India has formed an individual stance. It has formed an independent stance and is following a non-alignment policy. India is just as much of a strategic partner of the US as it is of the Russian Federation. And even though India's relationship with the US has grown in the last 10 years, the US is still wary of India's presence in the world. And which is why the US as well as the Western world, the Western media is coming up with these headlines and these articles showing that this particular coalition government is good for the Western nations. And we are going to understand how this plays out for them as well as for India in the next few months. We are going to understand how this particular alliance works out for the BJP as well. So now moving on to the two major neighbors of India. First, we have Pakistan. So India and Pakistan's relationship at this point of time is at an all-time low after the Pulwama attack of 2019. And even then, Pakistan comes out at the UN and says that New India is a dangerous identity, and it does not stop there. Recently, Pakistan's envoy has urged the United States to not over-align with India and that it should have equal ties with all South Asian nations. Now, first of all, Pakistan is in no position to suggest what to do and what not to do, whom to align with and whom not to align with. It totally depends on the interests of that particular country. Specifically in this case, we are talking about the US. Now, the US is a superpower. It will do what it wants to do, regardless of the suggestions that are given by any other country. And in this case, Pakistan. Secondly, from Pakistan's point of view, it is insane to think that Pakistan expects the United States to actually listen to Pakistan at this point of time. Specifically, when not only is Pakistan aligning with China, but is also economically not doing well. It is going through its worst financial crisis at this point of time. Even though it is on its recovery stages, it has not yet recovered and is going to take a while to get to normalcy. Now, each independent country should align with whoever they want to align with. That should be their prerogative. At the same time, the US does not do that because the US is the superpower of the world. The US will do what it wants to do and it won't let you exercise that right also. That specifically does not apply to whoever goes against the US or whoever does not listen to what the US wants. And this is where the US has a problem with India, which it hopes will be solved this time around with a coalition government. Now that we've talked about the US and Pakistan, let us also talk about our other neighbor, China. China, the growing superpower of the East. Now the Chinese, they're also celebrating this victory of Modi with a coalition government in place, because now the Chinese think that India will not focus on its economic development, that India will not spend much money on its infrastructural development as well as its manufacturing development. Manufacturing is one industry wherein the Indian government is competing with the Chinese government to actually get foreign clients, to get foreign companies in the country. And this is what China does not like. So China believes that this new government will not focus much on economic development, as it will allocate funds to welfare of the state as well. And not only does China think of it that way, but also the Western media. It thinks that India will not be able to grow its manufacturing sector as much as it wanted to this time around. At this point of time, it is too early, as I said earlier, to say anything as to how this new government will work, which direction it will head to, where the allies will actually align with each other, and where will they have differing opinions. Now that we've talked about the two superpowers of the West as well as the East and our neighbor, Pakistan, it is also important for us to talk about the rest of our neighboring countries. Coming to Maldives, it is surprising that not only did their president attend PM Modi's swearing-in ceremony, but he also was honored to be invited to the ceremony. And not only that, it seems like Maldives at this point of time has a change of heart, and it has even called India its closest ally at a time when it wanted a debt relief from the country. Now, as of last year, the end of 2023, the Maldives has borrowed a sum of just over $400 million. And not only that, but India even extended a support of $50 million just last month during the election time. And this is coming at a time when it seemed that the Maldives was actually getting away from India following an anti-India policy and a pro-China policy, wherein it even signed the military agreement with China. So it could either mean that one, Maldives has understood the value of India as a close ally and is trying to mend its relations with India, or the Maldives has understood how the debt trap of China works. It could be either of the two things or both, and it is not clear as to what it is at this point of time. So at this point of time, it seems that India and Maldives, they're going in a positive direction, which also becomes clear from the fact that after the swearing-in ceremony of PM Modi, President Mohammad Muizzu not only met Prime Minister Modi, but he also met the External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, to discuss the relations between the two countries. Moving on to the relationship between India and Bangladesh, both the countries have growing relationship, a positive relationship in the last 10 years. They are going hand in hand, building partnerships, as it is clear from the fact that both the countries have been working on multiple transportation as well as railways projects, which connect the northeastern states of India to Bangladesh. And not only that, but we're going to also witness multiple new infrastructural projects moving forward. One thing that did try to create a dent in the relationship between the two countries was the Boycott India movement, which was related to boycotting Indian products. And it was basically propagated by the opposition party of Bangladesh, the BNP, the Bangladesh National Party. However, the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, she criticized and also condemned the movement and said to the opposition party members that if they really believe in this particular movement, if they really want to boycott Indian goods, they should burn their wives' Indian saris in front of their head office. Now, moving on to India's relationship with Nepal. India and Nepal have had friendly relationships ever since they signed a friendship treaty in 1950. However, there did come a time when the relationship between the two countries was strained, and that was when Nepal actually launched their political map, which included 3 Indian territories that are in the state of Uttarakhand. Not only that, but recently recently, Nepal also announced that they were going to print those three Indian territories on Nepal's 100 rupee note. The Prime Minister of Nepal, Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachand, he attended PM Modi's swearing in ceremony and said that India and Nepal, their relationship is going to prosper under the leadership of PM Modi. So it seems like both these countries, they're in a positive direction at this point of time. Now, India's relationship with its other neighboring countries, including Sri Lanka, Bhutan, and Mauritius, has been good. It has been improving. India even helped Sri Lanka by providing them with a line of credit of over $1 billion in their worst times. Not only that, but the relationship between India and Mauritius has also been improving and has been positive, as India has built a jetty in Mauritius and has also invested a significant amount of money in their infrastructure. So, when we look at India's relationship with its neighboring countries, except for Pakistan and China, India has improved its ties with its neighbors and is on its way to improve their relationship further. And when it comes to India's relationship with the rest of the world, specifically with the Western world, we are going to witness how things unfold in the coming months. How this new coalition government takes charge of India's foreign policy, India's foreign relations, specifically with the United States. So, with that being said, what do you think about India's foreign relations moving forward? Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you found this video valuable, please share this video with your friends and family, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching this video and have a great day.